Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and we're back again with another Spirit Island video. If you're just watching this video on the day I released it or the day after, you should go straight to the description, immediately click on that link, and come to this form here and fill it out. Come back to this video later. This is a time-sensitive form. This is a competition. It'll end on September 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, USA. So if you're watching this video after that point, unfortunately it's too late. I was a little slow getting this video out. But what this is saying is that Nature Incarnate, they're going to start releasing it very, very soon. They're going to start releasing some content as early as the fall. And they're going to release it in 8 phases, similar to what they did with Jagged Earth. And so this is a little bit of a competition where they have the names of the 8 phases announced, and you just have to take a guess as to what content you will see released in each phase. And if you're correct, you might win a free copy of the game, which would be very exciting. Jagged Earth took a really long time to come out. It started in February of 2024, and it took approximately 16 months until June of this year before it was fully released. Now, in my opinion, they were probably doing a lot of things in the background, and that has allowed Promo Pack 2 to come out so quickly, and then Nature Incarnate to also start coming out so quickly. So it was pretty frustrating how Jagged Earth really just seemed to drag on for a super long time. You know, averaging one spirit every 2 months is, not as exciting as I was hoped for. But now all of a sudden we're getting the rest of the content in a very quick manner. So I would suspect that they did a lot of back-end updates and they fixed the way that a lot of the logic of the game works in order to allow it to do the more complex things required for Jagged Earth and now Nature Incarnate. And, it kind of was slow and dragged on a bit for JE, but hopefully NI comes out nice and quick. In just a second, I'm going to have some discussions I want to have regarding the game and some of the minor powers in the deck, but before we get into that, I'd actually like to just kind of comment for a second. I want to do more of these discussions and probably upload one of these every single week where we can talk about the game on a bigger level as opposed to just doing a gameplay walkthrough. I think these are really fun to do. They challenge me to be more thoughtful and, I have all these ideas in my head, but when I have to articulate them out to a camera, it forces me to be more honest. And sometimes I have to rewrite, re-record over and over again until I get something that I think is decent enough to put out into the world. And I think the process of doing that makes me, a better player and makes me more thoughtful. There are lots of other platforms where people talk about the game, and I'd say the biggest one is Discord. Now, unfortunately, Discord just doesn't work for me. It's kind of a problem of its own success. Because Discord has so many people on it and so many users, conversation just flies by. I really don't get the chance to look at my phone while I'm at work, and so I'll get home from work or maybe on a break, and I open up Discord, and it says I've got like hundreds of missed messages, and the conversation has just been going and going and going, and it's just too much work to try and figure out what people are talking about. So maybe you read the last 10, 20 messages, and you realize you're walking into the middle of a conversation, and you're missing all of the context. And at least for me personally, I find that pretty disengaging. I'm not able to just jump in late and figure out what's going on. Or maybe I have a disagreement with a premise some 100 messages ago, and at this point, we're too far gone, and it would just be weird to try and stick my nose in there and redirect the conversation based on my personal thoughts and opinions. So I find myself really just not engaging in any Discord conversations at all. Now, I recognize it's very popular and a lot of people love it. It just doesn't work for me, and just the way my life is. And that's perfectly fine. There's lots of platforms for different people. You got to find what works for you. In my personal life, outside of Spirit Island and gaming, I would like to listen to long-form podcasts or maybe video essays on YouTube where someone gets to take some time and really opine all of their thoughts. And, one thing that I found is that when you have these online conversations where you're talking really quickly and there's speed and maybe getting broken up by other people, you don't get to properly develop full thoughts. And something that I'll commonly see on Discord is semantics arguments where two people are trying to say the same thing. Maybe they're using 2 different words to mean the same thing and nobody understands each other. hopefully with these more long-form conversations where I can talk for a while and then you can listen, think about it, take some time, and then respond, we can have better communication. And that's really what I'd like to do here. Hopefully I can have more of these long-form conversations every single week and give you guys opportunities to respond in kind in the comments. Or hey, if you want to make other videos and you just want to respond that way and just, maybe send me a link so that way I can see it, that would be super cool too. I think there's a good and important space for long-form discussion as opposed to just trying to be really, really fast and, the first one to talk is the one who's right, because I don't think that's always true. As I've been making videos over the past couple years, one thing that I've found is that everyone can contribute. If you're an expert player, you can provide some of your personal analysis and your thoughts and your preferences. But if you're a new player as well, you can also comment in much the same way. Even if you're new and you don't understand the mechanic or you don't understand the logic behind something, by asking the question, you're going to force me to have to explain it in a way that is understandable. And one thing that I've found in all walks of my life is that if you can't teach it, you don't understand it. You must be able to take an idea and break it down in a way that it is digestible. We could come up with some kind of language that really functions as a barrier, saying like, oh, you don't understand the words that I'm saying, you're probably too stupid to understand that, and now we're all worse off. Even if you're a new person and you want to find a way to contribute, just say, hey, I don't understand this, or based on my experience, maybe because I'm new to the game, but this is what I've seen, why not? And, if I can't come up with a legitimate answer, you just taught me something new and you may have challenged my preconceived biases, and that's a great thing. Now, if there could be some more back and forth and back again, that'd be really cool too. And I'm unsure if it's better for me to make my response to comments in the form of talking in the comments itself, or maybe every month or so I could, make a video and kind of pull up comments that people are saying and respond to each of them in kind. We'll have to play it by ear and see what we, feel is best, but that is something that I'm looking forward to doing in the future. But anyways, all that bookkeeping out of the way, got a small little thing I want to talk about, and I will bring up a comment that was left. Last week on one of my videos, Andreas said that he's getting pretty cold on watching gameplay videos because he feels that very often a really lucky draft happens and that just kind of carries the whole game. And then when you go to play your own games, if you don't get those lucky drafts, it can feel like, well, maybe all those videos that I watched previously, all that strategy that I watched wasn't very useful because I didn't get super lucky like they did. And I kind of feel the same way. But I'm going to take that comment and I'm going to twist it, basically that I'm getting cold on high player count games. And really it comes down to basic math. There are 100 minor powers in the deck. And every time you draft, you get to see 4 of them, which means that after 25 drafts, you will have gone through the entire minor power deck. For me, there is a lot of excitement that comes from things that you have not seen, and the deck of potential is very interesting and exciting to me. Because if you don't know what could come next, then you can get really hopeful, and you can feel like maybe this time I'm going to be able to do it. Kind of like, taking a lottery ticket or something. When you go to a high player count game, like when you do a 6-player game, you're going to be burning through this 100-card deck really, really fast. If you have a 6-player game, then everyone drafts 4 times. That means that you're going to have 24 total drafts, which means you're going to see 96% of the entire minor power deck. And of course, 4 drafts is not unreasonable. I mean, let's take a look at a random spirit. Vengeance as a Burning Plague. We have 3 growth options, and 2 of them are going to gain us cards. If we assume, and by we assume, I mean it is known, that the average game takes 7 to 8 turns. Okay? And we're looking at only 4 drafts per player. That means if you draft 50% of your turns, then you are on pace to burn through the entire deck in a 6-player game. Well, Vengeance is definitely one of those spirits that will draft 4 times, 4 minor powers certainly, And you might draft 1 or 2 majors as well. I find that you're going to do G2, once or twice over the course of the game, especially early. There's certain builds you might go like a G3, G2, G2. But then afterward, for the rest of the game, you're kind of just doing a G1, G3 bouncing back and forth. You got some of the new spirits, such as Towering Roots of the Jungle, where both of your non-reclaim options are going to gain you cards. Okay, this guy gains tons of cards. Now, you also, with Towering Roots, have one of your unique powers, which is also going to draft a card. He has his card, Boon of Resilient Power. Okay, if you target yourself, gain a major, otherwise target spirit gains a power card, so you give it to another spirit and they gain a minor power card, and that's going to burn through cards even faster. In fact, if you really think about it, there's very few spirits in the game that are going to draft less than 4 times a game. Maybe they don't need those drafts. Maybe you're looking at someone like River Surges and Sunlight, where your starting kit can just completely annihilate a land. You don't have to use any of the cards that you draft, but because you're reclaim looping, you are drafting anyways, and so you're going to be picking up tools over the course of the game, whether or not you use them. Even if you don't use the cards that you draft, seeing the fact that the cards are no longer available gives information to your teammates, and so then they can adjust their draft probabilities accordingly, right? If they're looking for one specific card to bail them out of a situation, and then they see that someone else has put that card into the discard pile, they'll adjust their strategy because they can't gamble on that card anymore. So where am I going with all this? I used to play a ton of 6-player games, particularly in the PvP format on the Discord, and I found that every game was kind of playing out the same, because once you see so many people burning through the deck and pulling out so many cards, you wind up with this same combination of 8 cards showing up every game. Last week I talked about the impact of different minor power support cards, and all 5 of these were in the most impactful tier. Gift of Constancy, which gives the target spirit energy and a reclaim 1. Nature's Connection, which gives elements or energy, but really it gives elements. You got Spur, which gives an extra card play. Elemental Boon, which also gives elements. And then Sky Stretches, which allows you to do a slow to fast. These were all the most high impact cards, and if you are in a 6-player game, then you're going to see all of them every single game. It's simply a guarantee. Why are these ones always the most impactful? Well, because they all have an absolute immediate effect. Gift of Constancy technically doesn't affect you until next turn, but NC, Spur, Elemental Boon, and Sky Stretches makes you better right now. Constancy is just simply the best economy card because it's both energy and basically gaining a new card as far as being able to play a X quantity of cards in your next turn. But it's a reliable card gain, right? It's a card gain that you get to control. And arguably, it's better than gaining a new card. Because this gives you both of those pieces of economy, that bumps it up. All the rest of these, though, are absolute immediate effects. Now, these 3 cards are also incredibly powerful in these 6-player games. I bumped these down to the conditional tier. The Gift of Power, Gift of Living Energy, they take just an extra turn cycle before they pay off. They can be really strong, but it's also possible that they just don't pay off in the same way. But Gift of Power plus Gift of Living Energy equals a Gift of Constancy. That's why that is a step up, even though it fails under the same logic of these 2. But the last impactful card here is Gift of Twin Days. And I put that in the medium impact tier because it's really only good if these other cards exist. Generally, you play Gift of Twin Days for the sole purpose of repeating a Constancy, NC, Ellie Boon, Spur, right? Like, you're doing just creating this cataclysmic broken combo. And this simply exists as a means to take the best cards in the game and use those again. But if these don't exist, Twin Days isn't good. And I think that's perfectly encapsulates why I've gotten so cold on these high player count games. Because in those games, you see Twin Days, you take Twin Days, because you know for a fact it is guaranteed that these cards will be seen and picked up. And that kind of pre-drafting is a little frustrating to me. It's like, This card doesn't do anything, and I'm going to take it. It's like, I don't know. Anyways, in my games that I've been uploading recently, my two-handed games, when I'm presented some of these broken cards, I have consciously been trying to find reasons to not take them. To varying degrees of success, of course, but, you know, if I can find a reason to not take the most broken support cards in the game, I think it creates a more unique and fun experience. And then also for you guys, the viewers, I think it's also more useful because you get to see, you know, a more realistic situation. If you're only playing 2 spirits, you're only going to be seeing about, you know, 30 or so cards out of the minor power deck. You know, one less than a third. I think that's really healthy. It's not too reliant. You can't just guarantee your endgame state before you've even started turn 1. And I think that's good. Anyways, keeping it short today, keeping it small. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and have yourselves a glorious day.